You actually answered part of the question yourself. I was elected to the state committee only last March. However, I was Dan Grabowskis' finance director statewide in 2002. So I do have the statewide experience going around from every area possible on Dan's campaign for 9-10 months. And so that goes back to 2002. It's already 2009, so that's 7 years just there. I have experience both in the legislative branch and the executive branches of government as a legislative aide, as a chief of staff in Governor Swift's administration, in the chief secretary's office. I have been working on campaigns since I was 19 years old, where I would do everything from stuffing envelopes to making phone calls to get people to the polls to being my county Young Republican president for 2 years. I'm currently, as you said, the general counsel for the Young Republicans in Massachusetts, and I am involved on numerous levels. State committee, my local committee. As far as my district not being totally organized, that's true. Historically, it wasn't. My seat was vacant for over 2 years. I got on the state committee. I did not have a counterpart. I didn't have anyone to go to ask for help. So I'm a perfect model of what has not gone right and what we need to work on. And so I know firsthand, and I've experienced firsthand exactly what we have to do. And half of it's organized and half of it isn't. And you know, it is a struggle. It's a struggle for every one of us. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and everything gets accomplished eventually.
David, Dr. Angelo, our
Thanks. My question
emeritus.
Thank you, Beck. My chairman. My question is regards to fundraising. It's a two-part question. I guess a yes or no answer for the first one. Do you believe that fundraising is the most important thing that the chairman has to do? And can you give us a value of the 2010 gubernatorial election, how much the party will need to raise?
First part, is it the most important? Well, I hate saying it's the most important because there are so many things that are very important. However, we cannot have office space, keep the lights on, pay for telephones for volunteers to use, do anything unless we start fundraising. So it's definitely up there. We need money in order to function, just like any other business. You can have a great structure, but if you don't have office space and telephones, or you can't pay for postage, you may as well just shut your doors and close up shop and call it a day. So yes, it is incredibly, incredibly important. It's so important because we need that to support all of the other issues that we have. As far as the gubernatorial election, it's going to cost somewhere between, I would say, $12 and $15 million.
I'd say that raising money is equally important to recruitment and rebuilding the organization. And as far as the gubernatorial election, the proposed or the hypothetical one in the future, I think it would be up to the candidate and his or her team to tell us what they think they need to raise to be successful. Whatever that means, you know, success could mean getting 40%, could mean winning the seat. I don't know, but they need to tell us that. And I don't think it's the place of the Republican Party of Massachusetts to dictate what we think they ought to raise so they can win that seat.
Tina, have you a question?
I did have a question regarding communication, and some of it has already been answered. I hear an awful lot about grassroots this and grassroots that, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm getting a little tired of hearing that same old phrase over and over. It is my opinion, and perhaps I'm wrong, the chairman's job is not to, the chairman is not on the grassroots level. The chairman, as I see it, ought to be in an administrative capacity, bringing some cohesion to a very badly disjointed party in this state. And I think communication, of course fundraising is going to be the basis of that, but communication is a huge issue. Now, Jennifer, you mentioned a communications director. I'm wondering if there will be a technologies director, a person in the technologies field that will capitalize on being able to bring some communication to us, and how, in a nutshell, each of you would plan to bring some cohesion to the party? Not necessarily at the grassroots level, but how do you plan to bring a very segregated, disjointed party together?
With leadership and leading by example. The chairman will work with his small team, the executive director, the political director, a technology person, and some other staff members perhaps. How these folks get paid will be determined. I think 2 or 3 full-time paid positions might be adequate. And then the other positions may be contractual, based on what they do. And so, of course, the leader, the chairman, will be drawn on a lot, okay, because I was the chairman of a statewide organization for about 5 years, and the chairman gets a lot of pressure put on him or herself regarding everything with the organization. And you have to be, in Massachusetts, yeah.
No, you didn't elaborate. Yeah, that was part of my question.
My experience as a chairman?
In the party. Now you just revealed something, but you didn't name the group.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No. And I think it's very important to be responsive to the communication, because they're going to be calling on you a great deal, to get things done, whether it is writing a grant, fundraising, developing local committees, regional committees. So you do have to hold it together, because everybody you have on board doesn't have knowledge with every aspect of what's going on. So you have to be there for them to make sure that the cohesion happens. I do think, however, that the chairman or chairwoman ought to have grassroots experience and ought to be willing to work in the grassroots as he or she goes through the district or the state in their duties. Because if the person isn't able to lead by example, then there might be a disconnect. And if you want cohesion, you've got to prevent that disconnect.
When I talk about grassroots, it's more of empowering the state committee members who are really in the trenches, empowering our chairs, our town chairs, to really go out to talk to their constituency and to be really involved. As chair, I think it's important to get to every single region, to get to as many committees as we can, but we have 351 cities and towns, and there are 365 days of the year, and that doesn't leave many other days for weekends, holidays, and and sleep. So it's definitely delegating responsibilities, delegating duties. As far as, I'm sorry, I'm just going to break everything up from what you asked. As far as having an IT person, Rob Willington was a fantastic executive director who did both the IT end and he was the executive director. To find someone who has experience in different areas, who is going to be whether it's an executive director or a political director or a finance director, who can also have that. Otherwise, we might need to contract out to have a webmaster come in every once in a while to either update the system, to add things on. And that's really a good way of doing it, because then it's not someone on staff full time, but it's someone, and there might be college kids that we can use. We can use their resources, intern resources. And I feel like there was there another part of your question? The IT, the grassroots. Oh, and communication. Cohesion, absolutely. There has been so much negativity in our party. For a party that's so small at 11.6%, we don't have any time, any patience, or any place for there to be so much negativity. Everyone has to work together. We need to get all of the groups that kind of walked away because their candidate didn't win and they were upset and they were never treated well or they never felt invited or welcomed in. We have to embrace everyone with open arms, ask everyone to come back. We have people that have been around for a long time that have a ton of talent that is very underutilized, if utilized at all, and we need to bring in the new blood as well.